Hello, and welcome to Pokemon for everyone who loves Pokemon. I am the Squirtle Master. I have a different PNG I pasted today because I asked someone to help me download a Poliwag because, as you may have guessed, well, you wouldn't have guessed by the title. Actually, I've changed the title in my brain anyway. But this episode is dedicated to Poliwag, and specifically Amourshipping, or Satosera, which is the belief that Ash Ketchum and Serena should be together. And yes, I do believe in this pairing, so please do not hate me. I will admit my bias before this video even starts, but now that's all out of the way, let's start talking about Poliwag and its significance. So, for those who do not know, the creator of Pokemon, Satoshi Tajiri's favorite Pokemon is Poliwag. That is a very important fact to keep in mind. In the episode giving chase to the Rhyhorn race, giving chase at the Rhyhorn race, yes, that's the official name. We have the flashback in which we learn how Ash and Serena first met back when they were kids. And surprise, surprise, a Poliwag is the Pokemon that scared Serena, causing her to fall, and for Ash to save her. It is unclear why Ash was in the forest, if I remember correctly. Perhaps he was looking for the Poliwag. I don't really remember. I think he said Poliwag's name. I don't know. But Poliwag, as I just mentioned about the fact about Satoshi Tajiri, is practically like, you can always view them as, they can often be used as symbolism in the Pokemon anime. For instance, in the very last episode of Pokemon aimed to be a Pokemon Master series with my friends, whatever it's called, the last series of Ash Ketchum, in the last episode, people noted that Poliwag was featured in it, and some of its evolutions, I believe, because it was kind of like a metaphor and a reference to Satoshi Tajiri, which is also important as Ash Ketchum is named Satoshi in the original Japanese anime because he was named after the creator. Many people believe, including me, that the Poliwag bringing Ash and Serena together was almost like a sign that they were literally had the blessing of the creator, or it was their wish. A Poliwag literally brought them together. It is basically Pokemon Cupid, and that is really, really something special. This is just a brief fact, I'm not going to lie, this is just an excuse to talk about Amourshipping in a whole, as a whole even, but that's a little bit of a fun trivia to think about when, if you are an Amourshiper, I've just given you more reason to believe in this pairing, and if you're not an Amourshiper, I will prove to you some reasons, or explain some reasons why it is a belief that many people have. It's still an incredibly popular conversation in the community, and well, it's my turn to talk about it, so let's start. So, I personally like this pairing because, well, we're just great together. I like the conversations they have, and it's true they both care for each other, even though Ash maybe don't, so I have a feeling that he does have feelings for Serena, as evidenced by the whole giving her a ribbon, or literally taking her out on a date in the episode, the first day for the rest of your life. Okay, side note here, this is a little tangent, but it upset me. I don't know what they did in the original Japanese, but in the English dub, Serena's mother Grace says, you're always welcome to my house because the door is always open. And I asked my friend just because I thought, oh, it'd be fine if it was just between them. No, apparently they were outside. Do not say that outside. This may be the Pokemon world, but are you telling me that no one will hear that and somehow manage to stalk this poor woman down? Moving on before I go into the intricacies of what that implied. Um, Back to Ash and Serena, they basically walked around the town together, and well, I just generally love the music. I also love that, I listened to some review videos about it, and it made me appreciate it so much more because I didn't realize how some of the nice gestures Ash was doing for her because it was more just a music piece on my end, and it's just generally all the advice he gives to her, and all the support he gives her is far beyond what he would usually give any of his companions, let alone one of the female companions. The biggest, my two of my favorite moments, and conversations wise, are when she's worrying about going to the master class, and he puts his gym battle off for her. And that is huge for Ash Ketchum, considering he's not only as dense as a Geodude, but he also literally had arguments with May and other people and would complain about anything. Like when it came to shopping with Serena, he'd never seemed to complain about it. He never had anything negative, or he never would start a fight with her all the time. He would always be looking out for her. Like in the episode where Grace comes over and Serena can't tell her yet, but she doesn't want to tell her yet, but she wants to become a Pokemon performer. And then Ash says, and begins to tell her, and Serena says stop. And apparently they have to cover Ash's mouth, which just makes me laugh because I don't think anything shuts that Ash Ketchum up. My second favorite, well, my second favorite conversation between these two is the one time they argued, which was seeing the forest through the trees. I did not understand the phrasing of the name of that episode. I don't know what it's called in the original Japanese yet again, but seriously, seeing the forest through the trees, just I don't know why it just didn't sit right in my head. Either way, Ash is depressed after his crushing defeat at the at the hands of Wulfric, the Ice-type gym leader, and he heads off into the woods. Serena finds him and tries to comfort him, but Ash snaps back at her and says that she does not understand how he feels. This is where she finally, actually just it's her time to help him, and she helps him snap out of it in the way that only she could. She says that he's not acting like the real Ash, and the Ash she knows, and of course, snowballs always help in that situation. My friend wouldn't stop laughing, and when I learned it was of snowballs, I couldn't stop laughing either. Snowballs to the back of the head always help in an argument. Either way, that really left an impression on Ash, and he did apologize, and the bond just grew even bigger. And now it's about time that we finally talk about it. There is no such thing as a Pokemon Amourshipping video that does not talk about till we compete again. So let's talk about the episode. This episode made me cry. Why? Because Dene made sad sounding noises and I felt sorry for it. I love its voice in both the Japanese and English dub. It is just so innocent and so adorable, and I just was so sad when it sounded sad. And the first time I watched the episode, I generally did cry. And then, of course, we actually have the goodbye scene, the more notable part of the episode for most people, and one of the most memorable moments of the entire Pokemon anime in its 25 years, is of course Serena's confession. Um, and I thanks to various descriptions, and then help, like I know everything that happens in the episode, and it just made me appreciate it even more. By the way, I love the soundtrack again in both of this moment, in both the Japanese and the English. They're both really good. And well, Serena says that in the original Japanese, which I believe is more special, that which I believe is more interesting, that um she will become a better person and become a more attractive woman and then come back to Ash. Okay, Serena, that's a little bit strong for a 10-year-old, but okay. But then, of course, even though actually, or is she 10? That's the real thing I wanted to say here. Sorry, stuttering around here. And then she goes down the escalator, and then she goes, "Oh snap! I actually didn't confess to him after, stalking him to find him with a handkerchief." Just kidding. It was sweet, but in reality, she did practically stalk him. Either way, she ran back up the escalator and kissed Ash Ketchum. Well, 2016 Pokemon community, like in 2016 when it happened, the Pokemon community literally exploded, and some people claimed Amourshipping is canon. And some people say, but we don't know if they definitely kissed because it was off screen. But there are various different points that suggest otherwise. It is Charu goes into further detail about that specific scene and all the symbolism behind it. So I'll leave the link in the description below because I love that video and I found it fascinating. That's how I learned what they said in the original Japanese. But either way, that scene was legendary, and also I just like it was just great music and just then great vibes anyway. Now back to Poliwag. I mentioned earlier about the symbolism and all the possibilities behind it, and here is a potential. This is my swing for the fences belief that perhaps the Poliwags featured in the very last episode of Ash Ketchum were kind of a nod not only to Satoshi Tajiri and his favorite Pokemon, but perhaps back to Ash and Serena. It is a very very wild theory. A Pokemon theory. Sorry, Pat, I had to joke around. Either way, well, it's just something to think about. Alright? Don't take me too seriously. Either way, that's the end of this video for now. I've decided to make this video to set up for multiple different theories I intend to make in the future, so prepare for a lot of different videos, like involving Ash and Serena, and actually how Serena and some episodes featured with her actually can help with the mystery of how old Ash Ketchum truly is and how old she is in the X and Y series. That will be something I'm going to discuss as well as of course the um Pokemon Journeys episode 105 in which they reunite. I am waiting to get that video for when we can listen to the English dub of that episode in Britain. I know that that episode has been dubbed for a while now, but do you know how long if you are not from Britain and like yes, people in Britain could also use those websites, but I'm not one of them. It isn't like I can scour the web. Anyway, and I personally don't want to use those websites, but there is no other way I can really watch that episode. So when that episode finally comes out in the United Kingdom, I will definitely be talking about it. So stay tuned. Also, thank you for reaching the end of the video. If you like this video, please leave a like or subscribe if you're not already, because, well, I'd really appreciate it. But until next time, remember, don't give up till it's over.